can you please introduce yourselves and tell me a fun fact about you?
Who wants to start?
You go first.
I'm Michael Iacopucci. I'm Danny's brother. Fun fact about me, I play drums in the band. I guess that's not that fun of a fact.
Wow, who would have known you were in a band?
What's another fun fact? I don't know. I cut off the top of my middle finger once because I
Not intentionally.
put it in a snowblower by accident. It mostly grew back though, so we're fine.
All right, well, I'm Danny. I'm Michael's brother. I play guitar in the band and sing lead vocals. And I also like to play hockey.
Awesome. I am Noah Lefgren. I play bass in the band, and not only do I make pop and rock music, but I make lots of music too. I do a lot of production stuff. Lots of fun. Very exciting.
Can you guys tell me how you chose your respective instruments?
Noah, you can go first.
Okay. I started off on guitar, but then I found out that there were too many guitar players and not enough bass players. And so then I switched to bass and then kind of focused on bass and made that my main instrument. So I'm really good at it.
Sweet. Well, I started learning guitar when I was like 10, and I should be a lot better than I am, so that's why I play rhythm guitar, not lead. But vocals, I just have always been singing, and found that I really enjoyed it, had a lot of fun with it. I've been in a couple different choirs. I'm in the men's chorus at Brigham Young University where we go to school, so that's helped me like develop the I guess actual techniques of singing, and I've been able to carry that over a lot more to singing in the band as a lead vocalist and have a lot of fun with it.
I started playing drums when I was like in 4th grade or something, and then I just kind of liked the drums more than everything else, and you didn't have to like read notes on a scale or whatever. But eventually, yeah, so I just played drums for a while and took lessons and kept practicing until I got good at it. I mean, I also I taught myself guitar because Danny always got to play guitar for our friends, and I was there without a drum set, so I was like, I should learn guitar.
I kind of feel like the instrument always chooses the person and not necessarily like the person chooses the instrument. It's pretty interesting to like see the correlation.
Yeah.
So my next question for you is, how'd you guys meet?
Well, we were born in the same family. So, we've grown up playing music together. And then Brady, who we're trying to add to the call, he's not here quite yet, but he plays lead guitar with us, and he's been a good friend for 4 or 5 years or so. So we met him through that. How did you initially meet him?
I was friends with someone who introduced me to Brady and was like, hey, this kid's really good at guitar. You guys should like jam. And I was like, okay. That's fun.
And then I met the boys. We were in the same apartment complex and just bumped into them in like the common area of our apartment complex, and they were playing Wonderwall on guitar, which I thought was kind of basic. But I decided to chat with them, and they mentioned they needed a bass player, and I told them I played bass. So yeah.
I kind of love how it's kind of like a fate thing. Like you guys just kind of ran into each other. Like things just kind of worked out in a sense.
Yeah. Very. If I hadn't been there at that one moment, who knows where I would be? Actually, I'd probably still be in the same general vicinity, just like not in a band.
Everything else
True.
happening. How did you guys come up with the name of your band? It's a pretty interesting name.
So back in the day, I was actually an Eagle Scout. And
once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout.
So my like thing that I did was I just played 50s music and like 60s music at senior centers, and I like after one of the days that we were playing music, um, we were leaving one of the places, and there was just like a bunch of speed limit signs outside that said maximum speed 19 miles per hour. We were like, that's weird. Why not just 20 miles per hour? And so eventually, like a few months later, I was like looking through my pictures, and I found a picture of that sign, and then I was like, hey, that's actually a cool band name. Do it.
I've never seen a street sign that said 19 miles per hour, so that's pretty cool.
I think
Yeah.
it's like 30 kilometers an hour or something, but I don't know
Yeah.
why they wouldn't just have 30 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I don't know. So Brady, can you introduce yourself and tell me a fun fact about you?
So I'm Brady, Brady Ellsworth from New Hampshire. Fun fact about me, oh geez, I don't know. Am I fun? I don't know. I've been getting into fushigi, contact juggling lately. You guys remember that from back in the day?
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty fun.
Nice.
It's actually a pretty popular sport, I've learned.
New quarantine habit. I like it.
Yeah.
So what music are you guys currently listening to?
I think it's different for everyone,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's the point.
yeah. I listen to a lot of like pop punk or like stuff like Mayday Parade or With Confidence, and like some other genres, kind of like the band Camino or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I like I don't know, I have a wide variety. I like the oldies, the Beatles, the Who, but some new bands. I'll give a couple of shout outs to some local smaller bands that I like a lot. Rally is one solid band. Sunfish, Brother Gabriel. Those are some small bands. I don't know if your listeners have heard of them, but check them out. They're really good guys, good bands. I like them a lot too. Also like Ron Pope, John Mayer, some bigger ones. So I've got a wide taste.
You got it, Noah? Or...
You go first, Brady.
Okay. See, lately I've been trying to get into like more new stuff. I've been into like Daniel Caesar, Frank Ocean a little bit recently, trying to like expand my taste. Get into some of those more like R&B, like indie type people. But like a lot of the stuff I've like listened to over the years has been like, you know, rock, like pop punk. Like I was really into Green Day for a long time. Still love Green Day.
Awesome. So lately I've been listening to a lot of like house music. Not similar to 19 miles per hour, but like I love Count Trey's, I love Kate Trinata. Ross from Friends is really good. And then a lot of like, I don't know if you listen to the bedroom pop playlist on Spotify, but that's one of my go-tos. Like lots of Clairo, lots of Steve Lacy, stuff like that. Super good, like indie pop stuff.
What is your opinion of streaming services like Spotify?
I can go first. I think there's pros and cons. I think ultimately they provide one of the best ways for new musicians to share their music. It's like there's just so many opportunities to put music out there so easily compared to like in the past when you really had to like make CDs or 8 tracks or whatever before that, and like you really had to get your stuff out there physically. Now you can just record in your own room and put it on Spotify, and it's like out there for the world to hear. On the con side, it's just tough to make money on streaming services, but so it's nice that you're able to share music so easily, but it's hard for musicians to make a living on it. So you got to get out and perform too, and get loyal fans, build a fan base who's willing to support you. I don't know if anyone else has thoughts on it too. Noah, Brady?
Yeah, I think it's great. Like overall, like Danny said, you know, like back in the day, you had, you know, like get signed to a label. You had to like have people promoting you to get you out there. Like nowadays, there's like, you know, 16-year-old kids that have like a computer and a guitar, and they have like thousands of listeners on Spotify and stuff like that. And so I think that's really great. You know, just like the barrier to entry is like super low now. Like anybody can do it if you really want to.
Well, yeah, and like from a listener's perspective, like I found artists who I never would have found.
Oh yeah.
Like otherwise, had it not been like for Spotify or for YouTube or for like SoundCloud. Like even like with like SoundCloud, you have like Post Malone who absolutely blew up on SoundCloud. like overnight, basically. Just because like a bunch of people found his song and then like it worked the algorithm or whatever. But like Post Malone can like attribute a bunch of his success to SoundCloud and those streaming services. And so I think it's like completely changed the game. I think it's great, but then like the money aspect, that is definitely another thing to consider. But overall, I like it a lot.
Yeah, like I religiously use Spotify like every day. And I think it's great for exposure. I know that much. Like I've got to talk to bands in Britain and Australia just from whatever comes up on like my daily mix or whatever. And then just kind of seeing like local isn't as local as it used to be. It's pretty interesting. So can you describe the scene for me, where you guys are from?
Provo's scene is a hidden gem. I don't know about New Hampshire.
Yeah.
There's not much of a scene.
No, in New Hampshire, there's like no like music scene. It's like, as far as getting gigs and stuff, you can play at like bars and clubs, but then it's just kind of based on how like.
Well, Provo's music scene is absolutely phenomenal. You have like a bunch of venues that are super good. And then you have a bunch of bands who have come out because it's like a college town for like multiple colleges. You have like Imagine Dragons who came out of Provo. You have Neon Trees who came out of Provo. And then a bunch of other like, the Aces who are like getting pretty big right now. Who I absolutely love. They're super good. If they're listening, I love you guys. But like, Provo's like really great with the music scene.
So my next question for you is, can you guys describe your sound for me in 3 words?
3 words that we all agree on, or
I don't
3
even
words
know
each?
if we can describe our
You
sound
can
in like.
either one. You can each do 3 words, or you can collectively do 3 words. Whatever works.
I think we should each do 3 words.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what 3 words we each choose.
Who wants to go first?
I think Michael should go first. He writes the most.
Yeah, you write a lot of this.
That's hard. Trying to think of like. You go first.
All right. I think I got some. I'd say crisp, like rhythmically and whatnot. Relatable. And energized. Not very technical terms, but that's what I got.
Let's see. I would say I was definitely thinking relatable as one of mine, but he said that. But uplifting and hyped.
Hyped, so hyped.
I think, I don't know. I can't think of any like crazy like in-depth words or anything, but I would say like fun, catchy, and like simple is what I would describe a lot of it as.
And I don't know. I'm nearing like my 6-month mark in the band, so I wasn't here for like any of the recordings we have out on Spotify, but we have a song that's coming out in the next bit. We're working on like finishing up mixing and mastering and stuff. It's gonna be so good. But 3 words to describe that one: funky headbanger. It's gonna be good. Stay tuned.
Funky
headbanger.
Can you tell me a little bit about this song?
You can take it away.
Super. So it's super like bass heavy. I wrote like the main bass line for it because I'm on bass, and so I wrote it. But but yeah, so it's like really bass oriented, but then like a good blend of like Red Hot Chili Peppers-esque funk with like you get like that pop punk influence in there. You get like I don't know, just like this awesome blend of punk, rock, funk, pop, just like a little bit of everything in one song, and it's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's like a little bit. It's like different from like anything that we've done before in like the best way.
Yeah, I think it's a cool song because it's like instrumentally, it's fairly simple. Like we don't have too much going on in it, but it's like hype. It's like it's heavy.
Like
it's
all the different
song.
like things that we've added just together. It's like there's like simple parts, but like when you put it all together, it just sounds really good.
Yeah, like it's like pretty minimalistic, but it's so cool.
I feel like sometimes
Oh, I just said stay tuned for that one. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes more of the minimalistic songs, in a sense, kind of give a chance for the listener to focus on different parts of it and kind of hear the layers to what goes into a song. So that's pretty interesting that you guys are doing that.
Yeah,
definitely. Sure. I think like it's pretty evident with like a lot of the songs that are big hits are like songs that are simple and catchy and like people can remember them. It's not like the overly intricate ones like that are maybe cool, but they don't stick. Like they're not memorable because they're too confusing, I guess would be maybe not the right word, but complicated. Like there's too much going on.
Well, I mean, like with Queen, you have like Bohemian Rhapsody, which was like super intense, super complex, like all these different like movements and layers and whatever. But then you have like Another One Bites the Dust, which is like a couple guitar layers, bass line, and then a super simple drum part, and then a couple like ear candy stuff. But like, I don't know. That was like that's one of my favorite Queen songs. It's just like super minimalistic, but like I don't know, super catchy.
Yeah, it's a good example.
What's your favorite part of a song that you've written? It could be a bass line, a guitar riff, a lyric, drum, whatever.
Ooh, man.
Go first.
Me go first. My favorite. So we have the song 18 on our album Yellow Lines. I would have to say probably that guitar solo. That's just so fun to play. And it's like it like changes solo. Keys. It's a key change going into the guitar solo. So it's just like, I don't know. I was pretty proud of that one.
You can
Oh,
go.
let's see. This might be stealing Michael's. I don't know what he's thinking of, but there's one song we have called Our Last Goodbye. And it's just a very unique song because it's like very acoustic and light for like the whole first couple verses and chorus. And then at the end, it just has a really intense buildup, like slowly adding the drums back in, guitar gets loud, and then just everything comes in full force for the final time through the chorus. I really like that part in that song. It's really unique and it adds a really exciting amount of energy to the song.
For me, I would say, I really like the drum part in 18 a lot. It's just like a super fun part to play. It's kind of unique too. There's like a lot of different little like cymbal hits in there that like kind of I don't know, felt and added. But that's definitely like a fun drum part to play.
I mean, I haven't recorded or written much with the band, but the bass line in this new song, I love it so much. It's my baby. I'm so proud of it. Thank you, Danny. I'm hyping this up so much, it better be good, but like...
We'll just say this, the bass line is so important to the song that so far the name for the song is The Bass Song, because we haven't come up with an official name yet. So
it's too new to be officially named.
It's too new to have a name, but...
If you can collaborate with any artists that are alive, who would it be and why?
That's a deep one. I might need a sec.
I mean, my answer is probably obvious to them, but like my favorite band is Mayday Parade, and I think it'd be really cool to collaborate with them, especially since like some of our music is kind of similar to some of theirs. I think it'd be like fun.
Let's see. There's like so many, and I could like justify so many different people, but I think I'm just gonna go with Ryan Ross, formerly of Panic at the Disco, just because their second album, Pretty Odd, is like my favorite album of all time of like anything. And so just to be able to like see like what he does, because I know he was like a huge part of that and like their old sound. So it's kind of a funky one, I guess, but yeah.
This is probably a pretty classic answer, but I'd say Paul McCartney.
Ooh, no, I'm just kidding.
It may be cliche, but he's just a legend of lyrics and music, and I feel like I'd learn a lot playing with him or talking with him about it, and just be interesting to see where his inspirations come from and how he figured it out and made it so big.
So I don't know. I would love to produce a song for Clara. Clara is my favorite person in the entire world. She's so good. Bedroom pop staple. I would love to work with her, produce a song for her, write a song with her, or something like that. Just, I don't know. I love Clara.
So my next question for you is one our PR director Grace came up with, and the question is, what is your opinion of releasing an artist's unreleased music after they've passed away? Should it be released or should it not?
That's a deep question.
Ooh.
It depends. So like, I would say yeah, unless like you like they created this for themselves or for whatever. But I feel like a lot of people, like when they're creating anything, just like the creative mind, you make things with the intent normally to share it with the world and for people to see it and to be able to experience it. So I would say yeah.
Yeah, my answer would be a lot like Brady's. I think like for me, one of the reasons I love music is because of the opportunity it provides to connect with people. Like I love playing live, probably even more than I like recording songs, because you're able to connect with the audience on a new level and affect them emotionally and help them to really feel uplifted or be able to let their emotions out in whatever way. And I think like that's what most artists intend with their music, is to connect with someone, and if it's never released, no one gets to connect with it. So like Brady said, unless they like had no intent to release it and wanted it to be kept private, I think it would be an honor to have it shared still and have people be able to benefit from it even after you're gone.
Like I feel like Circles by Mac Miller is like, it's like some of his best work. Like I don't know, I feel like it's probably helped a lot of people, and like related to a lot of people, like Danny was saying, and that was released after he died. So
yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think there's much more to add. I think everyone's pretty good.
So I'll give some backstory on this question. It came about last semester when the Little Peep songs were released and how they kind of sounded like unfinished bedroom demos. And then we started noticing this is becoming a more prominent thing in the industry, where an artist sadly passes away and then their music is released, and we will never know the intent of the artist. So we want to try to bring up the concept of artist wills, or put it in a contract, because sometimes those voice memos that are recorded, the label owns them. So it's kind of crazy to see the different sides of how this happens. You guys are hypothetically in the van and you are going to a gig. What are 3 songs that must be in your playlist?
We definitely got to put that 10-minute vocal warm-up on. That's a staple in the band. We sing along to that one.
That's good. So this question is what we would listen to, get hyped for the gig?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely what Brady said. We gotta have that warm-up. Gotta get the vocal pipes all prepped to sing.
Downloaded.
Dang, I don't know what else. You want 3 from each of us, our own picks, or
maybe all together. Yeah, that's probably.
All right, I vote Brady's for number 1.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like normally we would listen to songs from the set list.
Yeah.
Honestly, or we just take requests from each other. Kind of, yeah. I'd say that or the set list.
I don't know. I guess. Yeah. If we're trying to get hyped, I'd probably put Jamie All Over in there. I love that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just a hype song.
Yeah.
But I don't know besides that.
Maybe this might just be me, but It's a Long Way to the Top. You want to rock and roll? ACDC.
That's definitely just.
I was hyped to the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like any AC/DC.
Any ACDC.
That's true. That's true.
I mean,
I feel like you're in an arena, at arena rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some Queen.
Yeah.
Okay.
recreate the Wayne's World.
There's a really broad answer for you.
It's fine. If you can change one thing about the music industry as it is today, what would it be and why?
I would definitely say like something around artist like compensation, because it's kind of like if you basically if you don't have like a million like listeners on like streaming services, then you can't make money, and even then it's like really hard to make money. The only real way to make it is to like perform live and stuff, which is like my favorite part of like playing music anyways, but especially at like times like this, that's not an option for people, and there's not really many other options to like make money on the side unless you're like licensing music to like movies and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say something like that, or like maybe along the lines of like some like more like support groups or opportunities for like new and upcoming artists, just to like open up like more, I don't know, like a wider range of like opportunities basically.
That's a good one. I think I'd say, I don't know, this isn't the whole industry, like there are a lot of places where this wouldn't apply, but just like generally like the integrity in the music industry, I feel like there's a lot of, it's unfortunate to say, but like there's a lot of like stuff that isn't honest that goes on in the music industry, and like even just things so far as like artists feeling like they can't really be themselves because people are saying like, oh no, you've got to be like a bad guy if you want to make it, or you've got to be a rebel if you want to make it, and like you got to do this and whatever. And it's like musicians should be able to be themselves, and they should be able to find fans that like them because they're being themselves. And I feel like the industry sometimes puts this false like requirement on musicians to change and to be someone else.
I don't know. I know that there's some labels that do this, but I guess I don't know if every label does. But just like having like good like mental health resources for the musicians, because I know that like like I personally have a lot of mental health problems, and so like if I ever get signed to a label and don't have access to that kind of stuff, and I know that a lot of musicians also have mental health problems, or like just the strain of like being a professional musician isn't like incredibly hard on a lot of people. And so just having those like resources there, I don't know if a lot of labels do that. I know that some do, but like I think just having those resources would be great.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with like everything they just said, but like personally, I think the music industry, I don't know, I don't look into it a whole lot, I guess, but I think it's actually in like a pretty good place. Like I know, like Michael said, sometimes artists like maybe don't necessarily get as paid as much as some people think they should from like Spotify, but at the same time, you know, you have like these like 18-year-old kids in their bedroom putting music on Spotify, you know, like that's money that they're making that they could not have made 20 years ago. So even if it's not as much as people like would want it to be, like that's still so much further like from where it was. And I think there's just so many more opportunities and places to go in the music industry than there were, you know, like 15, 20 years ago. So I think it's actually in a pretty good place overall.
Yeah, very true.
I like with the question about like Spotify earlier, like, I don't know, just like you didn't have Spotify 20 years ago and you didn't have anything like it. So yeah, like what Brady was saying, just like it's so much better than what it was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like Spotify's kind of changed the game in a sense, because I know a lot of bands are now doing more of the single releases than like the albums. Yeah. And it's pretty interesting to see, like, I don't know, like the fight to get on a playlist compared to like the fight it's true, like the fight to put out an album. And I feel like it's kind of changing a lot of things, and I think that's why vinyl's kind of making this big comeback recently, but that could just be me.
Oh yeah.
So this leads to my next question. What is your favorite album in your personal collection? And by personal collection, I mean you physically own it.
Yellow Lines by 19 Miles Per Hour. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, though, like you got to be your own biggest fan. So I love our stuff, but I'll pick one that's not us too.
Okay. I own on vinyl. A Lesson in Romantics by Mayday Parade, and it's like the anniversary edition, and it's super cool looking, and it's just such a good album in general. So I would definitely rate that as like one of the number ones.
Wait, I gotta go to my vinyl collection.
I can go while Noah's searching his collection. I think the first one that came to mind for me was For Me It's You by Train. I feel like it is the most underrated Train album. Like there's maybe one song on it that like was a big radio hit, but I think all the songs on it are like the best songs by Train, and they're my favorite band too. So I like all their stuff, but that album is solid, and it's I've had it for a while, so I like that one.
I don't own a lot of CDs. I only have like CDs, but for me, it's kind of a big toss up between Dookie by Green Day and Toto 4 by Toto. I actually love that album. That's the one that has Africa on it, but there's actually a bunch of good songs on there. And like Steve Lukather is like such a good guitar player, and they're just like so talented. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Dookie just for the nostalgia.
Mine is Rubber Soul by the Beatles. Such a good album. Probably my favorite Beatles album. It like inspired Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, which in turn inspired Sgt. Pepper's, and so like super influential, super good. I love it.
I always love.
And I have it on vinyl.
I always love seeing like what people are like. This is like my favorite, because I think it kind of plays a role in the path people go on musically. Or if it's just like a sentimental album at the same time, because I feel like a lot of at least like I know for me, like the stuff I own is the stuff that I might have listened to a while ago, and it's just kind of like, it's just nice to have it and have that connection to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I have some more questions. What is the weirdest or funniest question you've ever been asked before in an interview? And I'm going to ask you to answer it.
Ooh. I'm going to think for a sec.
Weird questions? I don't know. We've only done like a few interviews. Like
I haven't been there for any of them. So.
Oh yeah. Weird questions. I don't know. There was that one guy that called at the last thing and like was talking all that weird stuff, but I don't think that was a question. That was. I don't think that was a question. He was just like telling us stuff.
He was like saying that we should like write a song about like Trump or something.
Oh
like,
yeah.
He like called into the radio show while we were on the air, and he was just like saying all this weird stuff.
Yeah, actually, that's true. It wasn't. So he actually emailed me after too. I don't even know how I got me, but he's a nice guy, like super nice, but just like had some interesting thoughts and like suggested, it wasn't exactly a question, but suggested that we like write a politically oriented song, but like discreetly write it so that like couldn't be known that it was like necessarily about politics, but like would get a point through and like be a unique song in that aspect, I guess. So I don't know if that's a question we can answer. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
But... Fine. The story's good too.
Yeah.
So we have a question that was asked at our freshman orientation that we ask everybody: if you could be any utensil, actually, if you could be any item in the kitchen, what would you be and why?
Any item in the kitchen.
I would be a NutriBullet. I love that thing.
Dude, I was just thinking that.
I love smoothies are so
Brady
good.
and I are the same.
Yeah.
Wait, let me think though.
Or not.
I was honestly going to say blender though, but because of different reasons than Brady. I was thinking like blenders like take a bunch of random things and like put them together into a good delicious smoothie.
It's so convenient.
It's so convenient, but I feel like I don't know, not to like talk myself up, but I feel like I'm good at like taking a group of people and like helping them like come together and like unite and making everyone feel like related, even if they start as a bunch of different fruits.
That's gonna be our next song, guys.
Song idea.
Song idea. NutriBullet. That's the name.
I would be the cup that's holding the smoothie that was just made in Danny and Brady's blender, because I don't know, like what Danny was saying, like I take a bunch of random stuff like music and then throw it together and make my own stuff, and then it's The cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be the straw in that cup because
I suck.
Roasted.
I was straw in that cup. You know, it's a smoothie, so like sometimes there's like big chunks of things that get stuck in the straw. But like
hates turtles
through that, and so it's like our struggles. And, you know, eventually you'll get through those struggles, and you know we're taking all this stuff and like bringing it together and showing people that you know we can make it through this stuff. So.
You guys actually like came up with legit reasons.
I bet you weren't expecting.
I just like smoothies.
Most people are probably like, "Oh, I'd be a spoon" because they scoop ice cream.
I like cereal.
So, what do you guys do when you're not writing music, like hobby-wise?
Nothing. I'm just kidding.
That's like kind of my only hobby. Not gonna lie.
Honestly,
I'm writing a
basketball.
lot of music in quarantine.
Okay,
I'm a huge
pre-quarantine.
Pre-quarantine, normal conditions.
Yeah, I love basketball. That's a huge thing for me. I think I don't know. I go on hikes with my dad.
Yeah, I like anything outdoors, like hiking, boating, going snowboarding in the winter, hockey. Of late, we've had a fun hobby with we have a dog, and she has gotten really good at playing hockey with us in the street. So we play street hockey with her. So that's a fun hobby right now.
Yeah, I would say like hockey in the winter, or like skiing, but honestly, like mainly it's just music. Like
like music like takes up so much of my life. Like when I'm not writing music, I'm recording it or listening to it. It's like, or like buying vinyl. I love vinyl.
Or girls. I'm kidding.
But I like playing with my dog. He's good. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Dexter.
Yeah. I would definitely say like hanging out with friends and stuff too is definitely up there.
Like I go on a lot of walks.
Do you mind if I ask what your majors are?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
What did Brady say?
So let's do it. I'll go first. So I have dropped out of college, but I was a music technology major, so that was my music was my path. But yeah.
Exact same as Brady. I'm not in school right now, but I was doing digital audio.
I'm applying this summer for the marketing program at my school, so hopefully marketing.
I was doing business as like a pre-major, but I am not a fan of a lot of the classes, so I might switch to like I don't know, like commercial music or something. I have to decide still.
I always find it interesting what like people end up majoring in, because I've spoken to bands and like one guy was like, "Yeah, I'm a chemical engineer," and I was like, "And you play in a band? Like, what are we doing?"
Like Brian May.
Exactly. Yeah. John Deacon, an electrical engineer, like.
Yeah.
It kind of amazes me when people are like, "Yeah, I went to school for this," and I'm like, "Oh."
Well, like I was an econ major for the longest time, but then I decided I like music more than econ.
That's kind of right now. That's the boat I'm in. Like, I'm following business, and like I was thinking about marketing, and the only reason is because all that stuff would help with our band, but like, so would commercial music.
Yeah.
What are your goals for the new decade of 2020?
Ooh, a decade.
Dang.
Either one.
Are you asking like band goals? I assume,
band and
or
personal. You can do both.
Band and personal. I can go get out my goal sheet. Just kidding.
I left mine on the wall.
Your weekly planner.
I would say for me, and like I don't know, like my perspective of the band also is to like grow a larger fan base. Like we've grown. I don't know. We've definitely gotten a lot bigger since like primarily moving out to Utah, and have like grown our following to like I don't know 4.3 thousand or something like that. But definitely to like kind of get the numbers up. And then also one of our like main things is that we've done a lot with like raising mental health awareness and stuff like that, and we just write a lot of our music about that stuff, and like we've had our own struggles with that stuff. But we're actually putting together an ad campaign right now with one of our songs to kind of like raise a little awareness for like mental health issues, and then also like just the whole like issues that people might be facing during this time, and something like kind of make a difference in that sort of aspect with our music and with our band, but like also for people to like feel loved and like included and stuff. But yeah, I would say that's like definitely up there for one of the goals, probably one of the main goals.
Yeah, definitely what Michael said is a big one. So quick plug to follow us on Instagram. 19 miles per hour. We need the following, and we're going to start that campaign thing within the next couple of weeks or so, probably. So keep an eye for that, and we'll be trying to spread the word to raise some awareness and keep everyone happy during these hard times. But another goal, I think I speak for the band with this one, that we're hoping to get a music video done sometime this year. Yeah. We've got a lot of cool resources through school and friends who are in like videography majors and like doing film and stuff, and they've like already reached out and are like, hey, we'd love to like do something with you guys. So we're really trying to like take advantage of the opportunities we have right now and make a music video while we have some people available who like can enjoy that and have a passion for it and they're good at it. Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind. I don't know if I'll think of some more maybe, but
yeah. Let's see, for me, I say like as a band, actually, especially in general, I think like growth is like the main goal, just to like continue improving at like every aspect of our lives, just growing as people, just trying to expand upon everything, trying, I guess, like connect more with people. I think that's one of like the huge things, like to be successful in the music industry. I think you really need to like, like instead of trying to sell your music, you like sell yourself and like you connect with people. So I think that's another thing for us to look at, work on going forward. I think a personal goal for me kind of sounds like a weird one, but I want to fail a lot. I want to fail at a lot of things, just because like that means you tried something and you learn a lot from that. So
you're doing great so far.
But failure is good. So I mean, I don't want to like suck at everything, but just like growing from that, and just I want to like learn a bunch of stuff.
I don't know, all your guys' goals are so uplifting. Like, I just want to work with like artists who I really like and be like friends with all these famous people. I want to end up in LA sometime in the next decade. I think that'd be kind of cool. I want to, I don't know, win some cool Grammy award. I don't know what it would be, but win a Grammy. That'd be kind of cool. I have 10 years. Like, I've got time.
Amazing. So thank you guys so much for speaking with me. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, this is cool.